What's up, guys? We are here, Original 13 Ciderworks in Philadelphia. Really cool little cidery.
Most of you will know, or probably know, that Rocky was filmed here, so you can get a real huge feel for the film here. When we were coming in here, I could totally, I've seen the movie so many times, I could definitely get a feel for that, and I'm really excited to check out some of those places that they had filmed that movie.
Ready to go, ready to rock.
So both of them together is 5,000 gallons.
Wow.
Yeah. So all the fruit we use, whether it's the strawberry, the blueberry, or any of our other stuff, it's all fresh. You know, it's just that being an urban cidery, I don't have trees in my backyard that I can just go pet for myself. That's not our business model. Our business model is still, though, to produce a quality, fresh product, not use concentrates, don't use any fillers or additives when we can avoid it. You know, so like our pumpkin, for example, we actually grind fresh pumpkin.
That's awesome.
We add, you know, fresh nutmeg and allspice to it. It's, you know, it's a mess, but that kind of stuff we can deal with. Well, you know, with farmhouse ciders, which I mean, I certainly enjoy. The Scrumpy, for example, is one of the ones that falls outside of this production model. So with my Scrumpy, we actually go to the orchard. Every year the blend is different based on the apples that are available from that orchard. We bring it down here in these 250-gallon IBCs. So we'll truck it from North Jersey, from when my grandfather's orchard was, but every year that product is different. Now that's not saying that's bad. In fact, farm ciders should be varied. It's just that, you know, you think about, you know, beer. Generally speaking, whatever your favorite beer is, you expect the first beer that you had at the beginning of the year to taste the same as the last. Well, you can do that with dry ingredients. You can't do that with fruit. It doesn't work that way unless you're working with tons of it and you can sort of blend it as you go. But you know, our customers, especially for the American style ciders, which we, you know, are these flavored kinds, they expect this strawberry today to taste like the strawberry they had in January of last year. It just, that's what I want. You know, my grandfather, who we named our Sir Charles after, that was his nickname.
Oh, no way.
He was a cider maker, he was a bootlegger. His story was that he was an orphan. He was, and back in the olden days of orphanages, the idea of child labor didn't really exist. And what would happen is the orphanages would send these young boys to farms as farmhands. And it was in northeast Pennsylvania and northwest New Jersey, where there was still a lot of apple farms. And he picked up the trade there. And then throughout the 60s and 70s, before home brewing was even legal, let alone a thing, he was making hard cider in his basement. And he had an orchard, which we still go to, Mackey's.
So what has kind of been your favorite part about the cider journey you've taken? Kind of going through with the family legacy type of thing, or?
Honestly, it's the industry in general. Whether it's beer or cider or wine or whiskey, everybody who's in this game has a certain level of just relaxed to them. It's very rare that I meet even another cidery where it's like we're just banging heads as competitors. Like I came out of the banking industry for 10 years. Like, so when I first started building my business plan here, I approached Jap Cider, Hauser Estates, which is in Gettysburg. This is back before, like, literally had no idea what I was doing. I called them up on the phone. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up a competing cidery. And they're like, really? Why don't you come on in? Let me give you a tour. Let me show you all my stuff.
I love that.
You know, in the banking world, had you gone to like another competitor bank and said, you know what, we're looking to open up next door to you, and I'd love to see how you do things. They'd be like,
that would not fly.
You know?
I know you got some ciders for us.
Let's drink some ciders.
Let's try them.
I'm excited.
See what it is.
Yeah. There he is in the flesh, Sir Charles himself. This is a bottle of last year's Scrumpy.
Oh, jeez, look at that.
Beautiful, man.
Look at that.
I love that.
Sir Charles.
Sir Charles himself, yes.
That is cool.
He's unfortunately not with us anymore, but he is with us in spirit. He did bless the cidery before he went, and so
That's so cool.
we have his blessing on all we do here.
It's awesome.
Cheers.
Yeah, man. Cheers. Let's do this.
There we go.
All right.
The old sip
Take the mask off.
around the mask. The Scrumpy is different because, so Granddad likes things hard. The apple blend we use, again, is not from our primary batch. It's a custom batch every year. Last year's Scrumpy was about 12 and a half. So again, just showing you what happens from the same orchard. 1 year apart, we jumped up 2.5 ABV.
Wow.
The only other thing is we fortify that with brown sugar and raisins at the time of fermentation. So it is a dry cider, but we ramp the alcohol up by adding more sugar during the fermentation process so that yeast has more stuff to eat. That's why you end up around that 14%. That is really meant to be drank like a white wine. You're supposed to really get into the nuances of the apples. This, I kind of customize it more towards how you drink beer. Yeah, it's got a flavor. I enjoy the flavor, and I'm going to pound 3 or 4 of them back and call it a night. You know.
What am I having here? Because this is delicious. What is this?
Then you have the Atacama. So the Atacama is the bone dry cider. All the ciders under the Sir Charles banner, except the Scrumpy, start off as that.
Okay.
And then we just add the different flavors on top after the fermentation's over.
Yeah.
So where do you guys get the like the name of your like cider originals?
Oh yeah.
Original 13 comes in, obviously we're in Philadelphia, home of the, American independence movement, and we have the original 13 states on the wall.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
So start with their entrance into the Union, Delaware being the first state down there, ending with Rhode Island, number 13.
That's so creative. So how have you, and your company been impacted by the coronavirus so far?
Well, our tasting room has obviously been hit very hard. We were closed for 3 months straight. The city of Philadelphia has had additional restrictions on top of the Pennsylvania codes. So the city of Philadelphia has been the slowest to reopen. Right now we are up to 50% capacity in our tasting rooms, which is not much, because we also can't use our bar at all. So we have to take the entire bar out of that formula. We have our outdoors, which, as you can see, the city was kind enough to tear up my sidewalk.
It's a bit messy.
Yeah, 2020 has been fun. It's like, okay, you're going to live outside, and oh, by the way, we're taking your sidewalk. So it's one thing after another. So obviously, that's been hit. Ironically, though, the wholesale side of the operation has exploded.
Really?
Yes, we are doing, I would probably say, we're probably up 200%.
Wow.
200%.
Yeah, right. I can't say sell a keg to save my life because there's no bars open. But cans, I can't keep cans in stock. I'm canning every 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
And I just literally cannot keep up with the demand that the market has. And we're not really in a ton of places. We're in the state of New Jersey and the southeastern end of Pennsylvania. We haven't even touched New York yet. Or Delaware or any of these other states. So, we're probably, if things keep going this way, we're probably going to have to expand next year.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. That's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah.
So, things have been bad and good, I guess is the answer to your question.
It's a 50-50 thing,
I guess that just speaks to the product, too. Like, you got a good product, it's going to sell.
Yeah, you've been limited by, what you're allowed to do and whatnot, but your product shines through, so you're obviously seeing it in certain areas that are, because your product is good.
Yeah.
So, you do what you got with what you have,
There's 2 types of cider drinkers in America, and I try to deal with both of them through different product lines. There are what I call American cider drinkers who just want an approachable beverage that's generally gluten-free. Do have a lot of gluten-free customers that come into the tasting room. A lot of our menu on our food menu is gluten-free. But then you have sort of the people that are looking for that farmhouse experience. And there are a lot of great farmhouse ciders. Big Hill, Precon Farms here outside of Philadelphia are some of my favorites. Arsenal out in Pittsburgh makes some amazing farmhouse ciders. But they're not for everybody, and they're not for the general consumer. They're kind of like the next tier up. because they really need to be like the scrummy. They need to be savored. You know, I would never approach like a Big Hill cider like I would a beer. I would approach it as that's an experience. We're going to pop this bottle and we're going to enjoy this like slowly, and we're going to really kind of nuance it. You know, this is meant to be in a can. I want you to take this to the the ball game, crack it open and drink it and be like, yeah, let's do this. You know, and I don't see either as wrong. I don't, you know, if you're a person who likes Angry Orchard, who am I to tell you it's wrong? You know, I mean, because if it was that terrible, they wouldn't be in business. But apparently they're doing all right. You know, so you know, to whatever you enjoy, good to you. And I hope that my product fits into one of those niches. That's all I ask.
Like, the one thing I like about the cans too is just like you can make anything instead of like the bottle. It's just like it's a logo, but it's kind of like a sticker.
Right.
Instead of like you could just like full on like put an artwork on the whole can.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Philadelphia's an amazing city. I've lived in and around Philadelphia my entire life, 42, and I wouldn't go anywhere else. Even our building has history. So recently, the street was torn up. They removed the railroad tracks that were once down the middle of the road.
Yeah, we actually rode over it on the way here. Yeah, we rode on it. Yeah.
Well, this track here was the terminus for the Reading Railroad. So you're not too far from what's known as Fishtown. Fishtown being a major fishing port back in the turn of the century, where all the fishing boats came in, and they would be processed, and then that product would be loaded on trains here and taken out. This building was actually originally a coal yard. It was a train maintenance building, so you can see the gantry crane that holds up our little roof here.
Wow.
And we preserved the railroad tracks in the floor.
What?
They're still here.
Oh my God, really?
So cool.
Yep. So now that the train tracks have been removed from North American
You know, stepping on railroad tracks.
these tracks will be the last remaining reminder that there were ever trains here. This area had a lot of great history to, you know, the early industrial era of our country. Sadly, it died in the 80s, but things are coming back. We've got new houses going up, new buildings everywhere. This area is changing rapidly, and you know the city's put a lot of money, even though they tore up my sidewalk. Well, they did it because they're giving me a new one. And that's great, and that's one of the reasons we're here, and hopefully we'll be here for many, many decades to come. If you guys want, please come down to the beer show. I'll be there in a little bit. I got to pick some stuff up first, but join us down there.
I have like a secret that I've been giving people.
Okay, I'll go for that.
I will do that.
I gotta tell you how this happened though, right? Like how we got this secret. So, I don't know, last winter maybe, I was working here and I was working at the restaurant and somebody asked me, like they love to mix the different flavors. They all start out as bone dry and then we add flavors into them. So people will be like, oh, can I get half strawberry, half bone dry, this and this? And somebody was like, okay, so have you ever mixed the pumpkin and the blueberry? And I was like, no. And he was like,
pumpkin
well,
anyway.
will you for me? And I was like, sure. Like he was like, will you try it and let me know how it was? And I was like, I guess I'll be the guinea pig. So I did, and I was like, oh shit, that's really good. But I wasn't expecting it to be good. It's a little too sweet for me. So what I do and what I'm gonna do for you guys is like, and you is pumpkin, blueberry, and bone dry. So it'll be like a third, a third, and a third. And it's like a pumpkin pie. Let's do it.
Our boy Sean is making us his specialty. Let's go. Oh wow. This is really good.
Which is distilled cider that's been barrel aged for 3 years. So
That is literally the original.
This is it. In fact, in the olden times, in colonial days, if you were a laborer, you would receive part of your wages in Applejack and hard cider.
Yo, this is insane.
Adrian is gonna get drunk.
This is literally, would you say the original?
I'm telling you right now.
The very first distillery in America.
The very first distillery in America. Would you say George Washington?
George Washington, he was a huge fan of Applejack, and when the country was founded, Laird's became distillery #1, and their license was signed by George Washington.
Oh, let's go! Cheers. The original. The original. There's the original.
I'm ready for those Rocky sets. You come to this place
Every weekend.
You visit Original 13. Help. Visit help. Right here. Let's go. And you need to get twisted. It's amazing. Airbnbs are so cheap.
How I tried, written down the words to say. It is time.
Let me tell you something you already know. Life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Woo! Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. Woo!
Let's go.
We just visited Original 13, and we're here at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the very steps that Rocky Balboa ran up in his famous training montage, all the way up to the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Let's go.
We ran up 72 stairs, all the way up to the top, more than 72 steps.
Amazing experience.
I think our entire experience at Original 13, going to the beer garden, the hospitality of everybody being so open and welcome and being like so knowledgeable has been amazing. And then to experience the culture of Rocky Balboa and all the famous spots that they've been filmed has been an amazing experience that literally I don't think we've taught until now.
Three guys, cider.
Man.
Let's go.
Signing out.
Woo! Pan!
Like, comment, subscribe.
Hit that notification bell to see more of this amazing content.